Right now, you are thinking something weird. Not a big weird thought. A small one. Maybe it's about lunch. Maybe it's about that text you never answered. Maybe, somewhere in the back of your skull, a tiny voice just asked, wait, am I breathing wrong? You weren't. You are now. You're welcome. Here's the terrifying part. Imagine everyone could hear that. Every stray thought, every intrusive image, every internal. Why did I say that in 2016, replaying at full volume for the whole bus to enjoy? Sounds like a nightmare, right? But the real answer is far stranger. Your brain is already broadcasting more than you think. It just uses a very leaky microphone. Let's start with the thing you're doing right now without noticing. You are narrating your own life. Psychologists call this inner speech, and researchers like Charles Ferneyhoff at Durham University have spent years proving that almost everyone does it, constantly, in a running commentary that never actually shuts up. You rehearse arguments you'll never have. You give yourself pep talks before opening the fridge. You once, and don't lie, said, okay, out loud to absolutely no one before doing something completely mundane, like sending an email. Now imagine that soundtrack had a speaker. Imagine your coworker hears the exact moment you internally scream because someone said, per my last email. Imagine your crush hears the 11-minute internal debate about whether waving first is too much or not enough. This is the premise. But here's the twist that makes it actually funny instead of just horrifying. Your brain already tried this, and it panicked. There's a famous psychological experiment you've probably done by accident. A researcher named Daniel Wegner ran a study in the 1980s where he told participants one simple instruction. For the next 5 minutes, do not think about a white bear. Just don't. Easy, right? It was not easy. Every single person thought about the white bear almost immediately, repeatedly, obnoxiously. Wegner called this the ironic process, and it explains something wonderful about how your mind works. The moment you try to hide a thought, your brain treats it like a toddler being told not to touch the vase. It touches the vase. It touches it harder. So now flip the premise. If everyone could hear your thoughts, the first thing your brain would do is try really hard not to think anything embarrassing. Which means, by Wegner's own logic, you would immediately think exclusively embarrassing things. You'd walk into a job interview trying not to think about that one time you fell down the stairs in front of your entire school, and within 4 seconds, the stairs would be all you can think about. In vivid, slow motion, home movie quality detail. Everyone in the room would experience your most humiliating memory in surround sound. On purpose, you'd have tried the opposite. Here's where it gets stranger and much older than any office building or job interview. Your ancestors never had to worry about this, because for most of human history, thought privacy wasn't really the point. Anthropologists studying early human social groups, including work built on Robin Dunbar's research on group size and social bonding, suggest that humans evolved in small, tightly packed communities where almost nothing was private. You slept near your relatives. You ate near your relatives. Arguments, gossip, fears, and plans were mostly shared out loud because survival depended on the group knowing what everyone was thinking anyway. Somebody spots a predator, everybody needs that thought immediately, no internal monologue required. So why did your brain even develop this quiet, private inner narrator in the first place? Vygotsky, a developmental psychologist studying children, proposed something delightfully simple. Watch any 3-year-old, and you'll hear them talk to themselves constantly, out loud, while playing. The blue car goes here. No, here. That's not a quirk. That's thinking, happening audibly, because the child hasn't learned to make it silent yet. As you grow, that outer voice folds inward. It becomes inner speech. The private monologue you have now is basically a toddler's outdoor voice that eventually learned to whisper. Which means, if everyone could suddenly hear your thoughts, you wouldn't just be exposed. You'd be regressing. Congratulations, you're 4 years old again, narrating your sandwich choices to a crowded subway car. Now here's the part your brain really does not want you to know. Even with total thought privacy, you already leak information constantly, and nobody needed telepathy to notice. Microexpression research, popularized by psychologist Paul Ekman, shows that fleeting facial expressions, some lasting less than half a second, reveal emotions you're actively trying to hide. You think you're playing it cool. Your face just told the entire room you are not fine. Actually, you are extremely not fine. Your thoughts don't need a microphone. Your eyebrows have been snitching on you the whole time. So picture the actual chaos of a thoughts out loud world. It wouldn't be one dramatic secret exposed per person. It would be an endless, exhausting stream of nonsense. Because most human thought isn't deep or dramatic at all. Researchers studying mind wandering, including work by Matthew Killingsworth and Daniel Gilbert at Harvard, found that people's minds wander off task nearly half of their waking hours, drifting toward random, unrelated, often oddly specific things. Not secrets, not confessions, just a nonstop shuffle of half-formed nonsense like, did I lock the door? And that guy from the show looked like my dentist, and I should drink more water, repeated for absolutely no reason 9 times an hour. If everyone could hear that, nobody would be shocked by your deep, dark secrets. They'd just be bored and a little concerned about how often you think about snacks. Here's the twist inside the twist. You don't actually need aliens or magic or a sci-fi premise for people to catch a glimpse of your thoughts. You do it yourself, on purpose, constantly, and you call it talking. Every sentence you say out loud is a heavily edited highlight reel of a much messier internal broadcast. Your inner monologue runs 100 unfiltered drafts. Your mouth publishes maybe one polished final cut. The gap between those two things isn't a flaw. It's basically the entire skill of being a functioning adult in society. Which brings you back to right now, on your phone, hearing this in your very own head, in your own inner voice, narrating along without even trying to. That whisper-thin, private version of your thoughts you assumed was just yours? It's been performing the exact same trick your ancestors did around a fire, except now it happens silently, at the speed of thought, and only you get the show. So no, the world doesn't need everyone to hear your thoughts. Your face, your pauses, your suspiciously long silences after certain questions already say plenty. The real twist was never that your thoughts are too loud. It's that you've been quietly broadcasting them the entire time, and everyone around you has just been too polite to mention it.